when I speak was felt. Full house on my hands, the cause I was dealt. 3 K's, 2 A's in America. I'm just a black space born out the nebula. And everything I do say today is worthwhile. We for sure inspire action in your first child. I begin my first now. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words. Like I'm just a vessel telling inside this universe. I feel my ancestors and rested inside of me. It's like they want me to my cancer, take this society. But I do my own about it. Tell me where I start. My destiny everybody when I look to find the heart. So to find the super, tell me what it is for you. First step in the change is to take notice.
You signed in with Josie?
Real games that they try to show us. 300 plus years.
I said, did you sign in with Josie?
Still got no focus. Sorry, America, but I would not be your soldier. Obama just wasn't enough. I need some more closure. And Donald Trump is not equipped to take this country over. Let's face facts, cuz we know what's the real motives. And the bed and the freeze for the free notice. These are staying in the street, be the organ donors. Made this organized, my people made this so known. Still got the last names of our slave owners. And the bed and the freeze for the free notice. These are staying in the street, be the organ donors. Made this organized, my people made this so known. Yeah, we can't change the world unless we change ourselves. Down from the signatures if we don't seek the help. All eyes be my witness when I speak with felt. Full house on my hands, the cause I was dealt. 3 K's, 2 A's in America. I'm just a black space born out the
Just know it'll be tight.
everything I do is make today this worthwhile. With the strong inspire action.
Yeah, that's right. I'm saying, yeah, you can make it just like tight in. Thank you, sorry.
Repeat after me. Free DC! Free DC! Free DC! Free DC! All right, I know it's hot, but let's keep this going a little longer, just a little bit. Repeat after me. Free DC! Free DC! Free DC!
Repita después de mí. Liberen DC. Liberen DC.
Free DC!
Liberen DC.
Free DC!
Liberen DC.
Free DC!
Liberen DC.
Free DC!
Liberen DC.
All right. Welcome everyone to the District of Columbia. Let's make some noise for DC.
Hagan una gran bulla, hermanos y hermanas, aquí en DC y en todos los Estados Unidos. La lucha sigue. Liberen DC. Liberen DC.
DC is a sanctuary city, and we also know DC is a union town. If you are a worker, make some noise.
All right, that's right. My name is Preston Mitchum. I proudly and loudly call this incredible city my home. I am one of our MCs today, together with Lydia and Sam. Now, but make some noise for them too, y'all. All right. But before we get started, do we have any other DC residents outside today? All right. Do we have any neighbors from Virginia and Maryland? How about our allies and co-conspirators from across the country today? All right, we love this energy.
Nos encanta esa energía, ¿me escuchan? ¡Se puede!
We are here today because we know what the Trump administration is doing is wrong.
Estamos aquí el día de hoy porque porque sabemos lo que está haciendo la administración de Trump es injusto.
And y'all, we're not going to let them play in our faces.
Y no vamos a dejar que jueguen en nuestras caras.
Especially when the people that we know and love are being targeted, attacked, and criminalized by over-policing.
Especialmente por las personas que están siendo atacadas día a día, criminalizadas, brutalizadas por la policía.
DC knows it's wrong.
DC sabe que es injusto.
Los Angeles knows it's wrong.
Los Ángeles sabe que es injusto.
Chicago knows it's wrong.
Chicago sabe que es injusto.
Every black and brown person, every immigrant, every queer, trans, and non-binary person knows it is wrong.
Cada persona negra y latina, cada persona inmigrante, cada persona LGBT sabe que esta es una injusticia.
And you know what? Anyone with a conscience should know it's wrong.
¿Y sabes qué? Cualquier persona que tiene una conciencia sabe que es injusto.
And we know it's wrong because we deeply know what oppression feels like.
Y sabemos que es injusto porque nosotros sabemos exactamente qué significa ser oprimidos.
We know that our pain is interconnected.
Sabemos que nuestro dolor es unido.
But we also know that our joy, our love, and our fight for liberation is also connected.
That's right. Pero también sabemos que nuestra esperanza, toda la celebración y nuestra lucha es unida.
So that is what we mean when we say we are all DC, all of us.
Y eso es exactamente lo que significa que todos nosotros somos DC. ¿Todos somos DC?
As you hear the stories today, and their beauty, and their pride, and their righteous indignation, know that these stories will someday happen to all of us. And when you feel hope and joy today, know that hope and joy belong to all of us. And we all have a right to that feeling.
That's right.
So to get us started on that vein, let's hear from my fellow MC, Lydia Waldo Rodriguez, the Chief of Organizing and Leadership for CASA.
¡Liberen DC! ¡Liberen DC! Mi nombre es Lidia Walter Rodríguez y soy la directora de Organizar y Liderar con CASA. My name is Lydia Walter Rodriguez and I am the Chief of Organizing and Leadership with CASA. I am a proud immigrant from Panama. And for all of my brothers and sisters from Panama who know very well the pain and the bruises and the scars that militarized occupation have left in our people. The bombs that dropped days before Christmas, killing thousands of Panamanians, and the illegal invasion of the U.S. to Panama in 1989. This is a scar that my family lives with. Esta es una cicatriz que mi familia vive. Y todas nuestras familias en Centro Suramérica, mientras todos los cuerpos de los desaparecidos no pueden ser contados. All of our families in Central and South America who are still mourning the deaths of the toll that can't even be counted. We are here today to say no more to militarized occupation. Estamos aquí para decir no más. Estamos aquí con miles de nuestras familias inmigrantes y comunidad trabajadora. We are here with thousands of our community who is working class, who is immigrant, who lives right here in D.C. and is marching today, knowing that just last week, their families were ripped away from them and deported. Shame.
Shame!
Shame. Esta lucha de D.C. hemos escuchado amenazas para Baltimore, para Chicago, para todas nuestras comunidades negras y latinas. We have heard this threat of occupation here in D.C. expanding to Baltimore, expanding to Chicago. But we are going to rise up together and not be silenced, because our stories and our struggles is how we resist and fight forward. Nuestras historias y nuestros sufrimientos son la forma que resistimos y continuamos esta lucha. Hoy día se ve y se siente que el pueblo está presente, y el llamado para todos ustedes es que continuemos la lucha en D.C. y continuemos a resistir. We can see that the people are united and rose up today in D.C. And my ask to all of you, that this does not stop. We continue to do the grassroots work here in D.C. and throughout the country and continue to resist. I want to also call on our co-MC. Quiero también darle la palabra a nuestro co-MC, Sam Epps, del Metro AFL-CIO. Y también que orgullosamente es un miembro de Unite Here. I want to call on Sam Epps, who is the president of the Metro Washington AFL-CIO and a proud member of Unite Here. Help me welcome him on stage.
Thank you, Lydia. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sam Epps, and I am proud to represent more than 150 unions and over 150,000 workers in the D.C. region. Are there any union members in the house with us today? I am here on behalf of our labor movement because we know this administration's agenda of destruction, including those that are coming after workers and our jobs. This administration has fired thousands of people in our region. This administration is known and is doing union busting. And now this administration is arresting people, working people, who are simply on their way to work and on their way to job. Is this safety? Is this safety? No. Is this safety?
No.
We'll turn it back over to Lydia.
Billions of taxpayer dollars, your hard-working money, billones de dólares de impuestos están siendo usados para militarizar este país, brutalizar nuestra gente, alzar a ICE. Billions of taxpayer dollars are being used to make this state and this country a police and ICE country. Will we allow it? Yeah. Will we allow it? If you say no, lift your left fist in the air and chant with me. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Our ancestors have taught us to fight back, resist, and organize. And that's exactly what we will continue doing.
From D.C. to Palestine, we must end occupation.
That's right.
D.C. is rising up against this administration, and we are taking the nation with us. Why? Because we are all D.C.
We are all D.C.
We're going to hear about a lot of that in our time together. But to begin, we are reminded that we are here together on stolen land. We are here together on stolen land. Please join me in welcoming Gabrielle Tyack from the Piscataway tribe.
Liberen D.C. Free D.C. Free D.C. No one is illegal on stolen land. Greetings, my relatives. My name is Gabrielle Tyack, and I'm here as a Piscataway woman. Mi nombre es Gabrielle, y estoy aquí como mujer indígena. Greetings with love, profound strength, and thanks. Les quiero dar la bienvenida con amor y también bastante resistencia. Your march today did not begin in Malcolm X Park. La marcha el día de hoy no comenzó en el parque de Malcolm X. It did not begin at 11 a.m. No comenzó a las 11 de la mañana. It began 11,000 years ago. Comenzó más de 11,000 años. It began 400 years ago. Comenzó más de 400 años. In a place called Nacotchtank. En un lugar que se llamaba Nacotchtank. Anacostia. Anacostia. Now known as Washington, D.C. Ahora que se llama el distrito de Washington. It was a place full of families like all of ours now. Era un lugar lleno de familias como todas las familias ahora mismo. A beautiful living river that we call the Potomac, the river of life. Un río hermoso que llamamos el río de vida. el río del Potomac.
The forests full of breathing air and oxygen.
Teníamos tantos árboles, tanto oxígeno.
And this is the homeland of my people, the Piscataway people.
Y ese es el hogar de mi gente nativa.
We are still here.
Nosotros todavía estamos aquí.
And you are here now with us.
Y ustedes ahora están aquí con nosotros.
We've known through years of whether you have come here through enslavement or force.
Sabemos que muchas personas que llegaron aquí,
If you came from lands fleeing violence,
si ustedes se fueron por la perjudición
all of you,
o se fueron como personas que robaron y encarcelaron.
all of you came here with dreams.
Todos ustedes vinieron aquí con sueños.
And here today we have a dream of free DC.
Y hoy tenemos un sueño para liberar a DC.
You're here to free the land.
We're going to take a pause. We need a medic right here to the right. Vamos a tomar una pausa. Necesitamos un médico aquí atrás. We need a medic here in the back. Repeat after me. We need a medic
We need a medic
here in the back.
here in the back.
We need a medic
We need a medic
right here in the back.
right here in the back.
We need a medic
We need a medic
right here in the back.
right here in the back.
We need a medic
We need a medic
right here in the back.
right here in the back.
We do need a medic right here in the orange tent. Repeat after me. We need a medic
We need a medic
right here in the orange tent.
right here in the orange tent.
Thank you so much.
We're no stranger to this military occupation.
No somos extraños a esta ocupación militarizada.
In 1666,
En el año 1660
there was a treaty that was signed by the English occupiers
había un contrato que fue firmado por los ingleses
with the people of Anacostia
con la gente de Anacostia
that we had to throw down our arms and announce ourselves,
que teníamos que dejar nuestras armas y anunciarnos como pueblo,
or we would be responsible for our own murders at the hands of the colonists.
o seríamos responsables por todo el asesinato en las manos de los colones.
They said that we would be responsible for violence done against us just because they couldn't tell one of us from another.
Nos decían que iban a ser responsables de la violencia, que ellos nos iban a hacer a nosotros, porque ellos no podían distinguir quién era quién en nuestras tribus.
Just like today, criminalizing black, brown, indigenous people, people that are witnessing, people of conscience.
Como el día de hoy, la criminalización y el acoso a las personas negras, las personas latinas, las personas indígenas.
So from that time of 1666
Desde este tiempo del 1660
to a movement called the Bonus Army,
hasta el movimiento,
to the March on Washington,
hasta las marchas que hemos tenido en Washington,
to Black Lives Matter Plaza,
to Black Lives Matter Plaza,
to today,
hasta
here.
el día de hoy, aquí mismito.
We must be brave,
Tenemos que ser valientes,
we must be true,
tenemos que ser verdaderos al uno al otro.
we speak with one voice,
Hablamos con una voz,
we speak with one heart,
hablamos con un corazón
we speak with one spirit.
y hablamos con un espíritu.
All of you are welcome here.
Todos nosotros estamos bienvenidos aquí.
ICE, you are not welcome here.
ICE, no tienes libertad aquí.
Federal forces, you are not welcome here.
Policía Federal, no estás bienvenido.
Bounty hunters, you are not welcome here. All of you fascist technocrats, you are not welcome here.
Todos ustedes de odio no están bienvenidos aquí.
No kings are welcome here.
No están reyes, no están bienvenidos aquí.
Free the land.
Libéranos a todos.
Free all of us.
Libéranos a todos.
We are all DC.
Todos somos DC.
All relatives, homatakuyasin.
Todos somos DC.
All right, I must pause and look at this community that we have. We are truly who keeps us safe. Thanks for the acknowledgement for the medic. Please, if you see anyone who may be dehydrated, please do your best to flag it for us, and we'll do that in kind. We have to take care of ourselves, so thank y'all so much for doing that. Thank you as well to Gabrielle. I would like to take a moment of silence just to recognize the ancestors on the land of which we stand. Thank y'all so very much. Thank y'all. Let's try to keep this energy as much as we can, y'all. I know. But if our fascists will have the energy to oppress us, right, we will keep the energy going to make sure that we do that shit right back.
That's right. That's right.
Right? And now I get energized when I get to introduce this next person. All right. I'm so happy to welcome my sister to the stage, a woman who is DC.
That's right.
Who dedicates her entire life to all of you and to the liberation specifically of Black people and Black communities. Let's hear some noise for my friend and my comrade, Nene Taylor, the executive director of Harriet's Wildest Dreams and the co-founder of Free DC.
I never travel alone. Hers Wildest Dreams got this thing say we go together, especially in these times.
Nunca estoy sola. Siempre las personas están conmigo.
Freedom loves me, this I know, because my ancestors made it so. Fight together, we are strong. With people power, you belong. Yes, freedom loves me. Yes, freedom loves me. Yes, freedom loves me, 'cause my ancestors made it so.
Woo! Yeah. Freedom loves me. Freedom loves us. As they stated, my name is Nene Taylor. I'm a DC native born and raised in Southeast Washington, D.C.
Como las personas dicen, soy Nini y soy nacida aquí mismito en Washington, D.C.
Ward 8, Ward 7, Southeast.
En el suroeste, aquí mismito de
Southside,
D.C.
outside.
Todo el mundo del suroeste.
Black people, I need to take this time and talk to you, my sisters, my brothers, my nieces, my nephews, my cousins.
Mi comunidad negra, quiero tomar el tiempo para hablar con ustedes. Mis sobrinas, mis hermanos, mis hermanas, mi familia.
Remember who you are.
Recuerda quién es.
They want to bury us.
Ellos quieren enterrarnos.
Yet they keep forgetting that we are seeds of our ancestors.
Pero se les olvida que nosotros somos semillas de nuestros ancestros.
We are the roots and foundation of DC.
Nosotros somos la raíz de DC.
We built this city brick by brick, block by block, blood, sweat, and tears.
Construimos esta ciudad pie por pie en todas blocas con sudor y también con sangre.
From Anacostia to Shaw,
de todos los rincones de esta ciudad.
From Bury Farms to U Street. It's our labor, our brilliance, our black bodies that make Chocolate City.
That's right. Es nuestro labor, nuestros cuerpos que construyó nuestra ciudad negra.
From fish fries to chicken wings with mamba sauce to the go-go swing.
Desde la comida, la cultura y hasta la música.
Without the DC culture, it doesn't mean a thing.
Si no tienes la cultura, DC no significa nada.
from the south to the east to the north to the west.
Desde el suroeste, del norte, del este,
We built this.
nosotros construimos
We are
esta
this.
ciudad. Nosotros somos esto.
DC is not DC without us.
DC no es DC sin nosotros.
I need you to remember who you are.
Necesito que recuerdes quién eres.
It's heartbreaking to witness the same black people who built DC
Me duele el corazón ver las caras negras que construyeron esta misma ciudad,
are once again under attack.
que ahorita mismo están debajo de ataque.
Yet it's in our DNA from 400 years ago to fight back.
That's right. Pero existe nuestro DNA de más de 400 años atrás para luchar.
For 3 weeks, DC has been under a militarized occupation.
Por 3 semanas DC ha estado en ocupación militarizada.
Let's be clear.
Vamos a ser bien sinceros.
DC did not ask for this.
DC no preguntó por esto.
And this does not keep us safe.
Y esto no nos hace seguros.
Housing, jobs, health care keep us safe.
That's right.
Care, not cops.
That's right. Oportunidades como vivienda, medicamento, hospitales nos hacen sentir seguros, no la policía.
This so-called crime crisis manufactured by this orange man and this administration
Esta administración ha hecho cuentos de crímenes.
is nothing more than justification for sending armed troops and federal agents into our neighborhoods and spreading harmful lies about our people and our youth.
Shame. Esta narrativa, estas mentiras son tácticas para justificar el sufrimiento que quieren traer a nuestras comunidades.
Black people are being stopped, frisked, and kidnapped at alarming rates.
Nuestra gente negra está siendo raptada, está siendo acosada, está siendo brutalizada en unos números tan grandes.
Our youth are being forced to comply with a curfew. We know this curfew is not about safety.
That's right.
It's about mechanizing design with the hope that young people will break this law and get jailed and caged.
Sabemos que esta táctica para limitar las horas que estamos en la calle es una táctica para directamente atacar a nuestros jóvenes y cuando los jóvenes resistan, poder encarcelarlos.
DC is the most heavily policed city in the country.
En todo el país, DC es la ciudad que tiene masivamente la policía.
And 90% of the people that's in jail are black people.
Y el 90% de las personas que están en las cárceles son personas negras.
This not by coincidence.
Esto no es coincidencia,
This is policy.
estas son políticas.
This is oppression in design.
Esta es opresión en diseño.
We know the carceral state has never kept us safe.
Nosotros sabemos que este país nunca nos ha mantenido seguros.
These systems was built to confine and oppress black bodies in service to capitalism and the white supremacy agenda.
That's right. Estos sistemas fueron hechos a propósitamente. Se
They're
llama
in-
capitalismo para oprimir a nuestra gente.
Their end goal is to create an authoritarian and fascism country.
Su ego es crear un país de odio.
This is not what democracy look like.
Eso no es lo que dice la democracia.
And instead of rising up with the people of D.C. in these times, some of our elected officials have doubled down to negotiate and appease the circus and head clown.
Shame. Y en vez de levantarse en este momento y luchar con nosotros, algunos de nuestros electos han decidido negociar con esta administración.
This is betrayal. And we need leaders who will fight for and with the people of D.C.
Necesitamos líderes que apoyen la gente de DC.
Everyone outside of D.C., don't y'all look back, don't look away. If you're not from D.C., I don't need you to look away.
Si tú no eres de DC, necesito que te enfoques.
D.C. is the testing ground.
DC es un piloto.
And we need you to help them fail their tests.
That's right.
We need you to visit freedcproject.org and send letters to your members of Congress.
Queremos que visites a freedc.org y que mandes cartas a tus legislativos.
Tell them to oppose every attack on D.C. home rule and to end this unconstitutional occupation right now.
That's right. Pídanle que paren esa ocupación ilegal y que también luchen por legislaciones locales.
In closing,
Para terminar,
I need you to hear my message from
Quiero-
one of my black youth.
quiero que
Where
escuchen
you
mi
at, Macau?
mensaje de parte de uno de nuestros jóvenes.
I want to be clear.
Quiero ser muy clara.
I do this work for my recent granddaughter Sloan and our black future generation.
Yo hago este trabajo por mis nietos y nuestras generaciones del futuro.
And this is a message to my babies.
Y este es un mensaje para mis nietos.
May my faith and my strength encourage you to have no fear.
Que mi espíritu, lucha y valentía te
If
dé
you,
fuerzas.
if you hear or see those enslaved catchers coming your way, you keep going.
Si tú ves las fuerzas de odio, continúa a luchar.
If you see those guns and tear gases and handcuffs in your community, you keep going.
Si ves esas armas, esos tanques en tu comunidad, sigue adelante.
If they shout and try to dehumanize you, don't you look back. You keep going.
Si ellos tratan de quitarte tu humanidad, continúa adelante.
Don't you let them take your self-worth, your dignity,
right.
or your joy.
Nunca dejes que te quiten tu espíritu y tu felicidad.
Don't you ever stop.
Nunca pares.
If you want to taste the freedom,
Si quieres libertad,
you look to the sky. You look to that sky,
miras al cielo
and don't you comply.
y nunca dejes de resistir.
You keep going.
Continúa a luchar.
You free this land.
Libera esta
You
tierra.
free our people.
Libera a nuestra
And you
gente.
free us all.
Libéranos
You
todos.
free DC.
You free DC.
You free DC.
You free DC.
You free DC.
Free DC.
Ashe.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Makai, and I am from one of the targeted neighborhoods located in Southeast D.C.
Buenas tardes. Yo quiero compartir mi historia como una de las personas que está acosado en uno de los vecindarios aquí en DC.
These federal agents have been coming around my community several times a day for about a few weeks now.
Estos agentes federales están circulando mi comunidad por varias horas, por varias semanas.
Sending dozens of federal agents into low-income neighborhoods isn't doing anything but causing pure chaos, both inside and outside of the community.
That's right. Mandando agentes federales, lo único que está haciendo es causando terror adentro y afuera de nuestras comunidades.
It makes me feel as if they are treating us as if we are wild animals with their choice of tactics.
Con las tácticas que han utilizado, me hacen sentir como si nosotros somos animales.
These federal agents, masked up in unmarked cars with out-of-state license places, literally blitzing these neighborhoods is just pure scary.
Esos agentes federales enmascarados en carros que no están marcados,
If they are trying to come into dangerous neighborhoods or quote-unquote violent neighborhoods, how is their approach appropriate in any way, shape, or form?
si ellos dicen que están viniendo a comunidades peligrosas, ¿cómo cómo están haciendo algo diferente usando estas tácticas de odio.
I have seen these agents pull up in cars marked with ride stickers such as Uber and Lyft and scope out my neighborhood before they blitz with artillery so heavy it could rip through houses.
He sido testigo de estos agentes sacar a personas de Ubers y de Lyfts y también estar tan armados que pueden estallar tantas casas.
One day, I was just getting home from work when I seen the DEA, ATF, FBI, and MPD come into my neighborhood and start harassing a black man for sharing a seat with somebody, fully violating his Fourth Amendment.
Fui testigo de varias diferentes agencias viniendo con varias personas acosando solamente a un individual.
I've also seen them ambush my neighborhoods coming from side gates and so many cars, the line stretches beyond the parking lot.
He también sido testigo de las diferentes tácticas en las formas que están viniendo en todos lados de mi vecindario.
You would think that that's enough for them, but no, they also started jumping gates from the whole opposite side of the parking lot.
Pensarías que eso sería suficiente para ellos, pero también hasta lo he visto saltando cercas para encontrar personas.
I don't think blindly coming into neighborhoods just to find a reason to incarcerate someone is considered helping the community or cracking down on crimes. It's actually creating new crimes just to convict anyone.
Yeah, that's right. Yo no creo que al tener agentes que ciegamente están viniendo a los vecindarios encontrando personas para tratar de ponerles cargas, realmente lo que están haciendo es haciendo crimen en nuestros vecindarios.
They come in these neighborhoods searching people, searching parked cars, and being highly aggressive. And again, with the same weapons that can tear through the whole neighborhood.
Vienen en nuestros vecindarios acosando a nuestra gente.
It's a really scary thing to see. And it makes me feel less protected by these sworn officers of the law. That's why it's always good to know your constitutional rights in case you are put into an uncomfortable situation by these federal agents.
Es sumamente importante conocer tus derechos constitucionales si tú también estás en una situación con esos agentes federales.
Everything they're doing to both us and the community is not okay. They're not helping us. They're only causing more trouble into these communities that took generations to build this relationship, this bond between our people. It is not okay.
Todo lo que están haciendo en nuestras comunidades no es justo. Tantas generaciones trabajaron y se esforzaron tanto para tener relaciones y crear comunidad. Y ellos están haciendo algo tan injusto para destrozarlo.
They think we are the aggressors. But when you look from their point of view, they're being aggressive into our communities, causing nothing but drama, more violence, and fear all throughout the neighborhood within our people.
That's right. Dice que nosotros somos los agresivos, pero todo el odio y todas las tácticas que están haciendo, ellos son las personas que están causando temor con esas tácticas de odio.
Thank you guys for listening. If y'all could just do me one good favor and pull out y'all phones, open Instagram and follow Guns Down Friday on Instagram. I repeat, Guns Down Friday USA on Instagram. Thank you.
So much.
Thank you all, and always listen to the youth.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Free DC! Free DC! Libera DC! Libera DC!
All right, y'all. Let's keep it going. Free DC! All right, thank you so much to Nene and to our incredible black youth who do this work in the district every single day. We are here because of them. We should be here because of them. This is not the first time DC has had to fight for our rights. To remind us of the context of this specific moment, please join me in welcoming Reverend Mark A. Thompson, historian and activist.
Liberen DC! Liberen DC! Free DC!
Free DC!
Free DC!
Free DC!
The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
The Free DC. Give yourselves a round of applause for marching down here in the heat today. We want to congratulate the Free DC Project and Harriet's Dreams and all of the people who organized this, organized labor, the Metropolitan Washington Council, AFL-CIO. In respect of protocol, I'm going to give a little of my time to someone very special here and who has a higher rank than I do. Speaking of the history in 1993, thousands of people, just like you, committed civil disobedience at the Capitol against taxation without representation. Thousands of us went to jail. We were the original Tea Party because we dumped tea on the Capitol steps against taxation without representation, just like they did in Boston. All of us went to jail, and it resulted in the first ever vote for D.C. statehood on the House floor. That was 1993. If the Democrats had all voted for it, we'd be the 51st state today, Gina Page. Back then, the movement in the street worked with the mayor up there in the suite. And that mayor at that time, we even went to jail with us. She is here today to stand with us. Please welcome, let's hear a few words from Mayor Sharon Pratt, the first black woman mayor of a major American city.
Thank you, Mark. Free DC. You know, my name, you're right, is Sharon Pratt. I was born and reared in this city. And I actually thought, because I live in the capital of a we the people country, that I too was a citizen of the United States of America. But a few months ago, I found out that is not the case. I found out that there are those who have no respect for who we are in Washington, D.C., though we are the home of a we the people government. So how do we turn that around? I think we've got to remember how the heck we ever had a we the people government. Next year, we're going to celebrate on the 4th of July 250 years of this country. What are we celebrating? Are we celebrating the Constitution? No. Are we celebrating the inauguration of a president who happened to be the only one who was elected unanimously? No. We are celebrating the day that 56 individuals put their lives on the line and engaged in an act of treason against the Great Britain when they said, I'm not going to accept the abuse, the disrespect of a distant, insensitive king. I will put everything on the line and declare my independence. That is who we are. And we must remember that. Benjamin Franklin said we better hang together, because if we don't, we will certainly hang separately. The only way we will be free in D.C. is to continue this close ranks and demand that we are free. And it is well within our reach. So D.C., you're awake, you got it, you got the memo, how they see us. Let's close ranks and free D.C.
Let's hear it for the Mayor, Sharon Pratt. Give her a warm round of applause. Just a few words about what brought us here. It was after that Declaration of Independence, which, by the way, if you read it, every word of it applies to what we're dealing with here in D.C. today. There was no democracy for the colonists. They had no rights to their own laws. They had no rights to their own budget. And so they staged a revolution against King George III. But then the first chance they got to build a nation's capital, they brought it here. And we have to have respect for those who stood before us, not just the originators of the Free DC movement, but our enslaved ancestors who built this city, designed it and organized it for free. The original sin, the original crime. And then during the Civil Rights Movement, after Bloody Sunday, March of 1965, and the march from Selma to Montgomery, we were able to get the Voting Rights Act passed in August of 1965. When Lyndon Johnson held the signing ceremony at the White House, after that ceremony, the Reverend Walter Fauntleroy asked Dr. King to lead a march through D.C. for home rule. We weren't even talking about statehood yet. Just a march for home rule and an elected government. In 1965, Voting Rights Act for America, still no home rule for those of us in Washington, D.C. And then a year later, SNCC arrived here, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, in the person of Frank Smith, James Foreman, and others, and of course, Marion Barry, who would one day be mayor of Washington, D.C. We have to lift up the names of those who fought hard. Julius Hobson, Josephine Butler, Hilda Mason, and then even those who are contemporary now, Anise Jenkins of the Stand Up for Democracy Coalition. And just like we don't know, sadly, every name of every person on that Edmund Pettus Bridge with John Lewis, there are countless names, thousands, in 1993 who went to jail every Thursday to stand up for democracy and to stand up for D.C. statehood. We didn't come this far to stop. We didn't come this far to give up. We have to keep on going. We can't turn back no matter what. We are on the cusp of our freedom. And believe it or not, no good Donald Trump has cast a spotlight on our plight by sending this military occupation into Washington, D.C. And so we want to let him know, wherever he is, because we know he's watching, Donald Trump, what you see today is exactly what you get. We are not giving up. We are going to continue this fight for statehood until the day our hands are full of victory in the 51st state of the Union. God bless you all. Free D.C. Free D.C. Free D.C. Free D.C.
Great job, Mike. Great job.
Thank you, Reverend Thompson. As we struggle to confront this moment, our faith communities are rising up to meet this moment. And I personally witnessed this at the First Baptist Church of Deanwood this week. And it has been repeated all over this city, every ward. And so I would like to invite Reverend Keith Bird of Zion Baptist Church and leaders of the D.C. Coalition of Concerned Clergy with other faith networks from across the district to come to the podium.
Good afternoon, D.C. I said good afternoon, D.C. Let's make some noise. I am Reverend Keith William Bird, Senior Pastor of the Zion Baptist Church in beautiful Northwest Washington, D.C., representing our faith community. Behind me we have Reverend Glenna Huber, Reverend Hernandez, Rabbi Lieberman, Reverend Amalgar, and Reverend Delonte Golson. Won't you help me celebrate them as they stand with me today? We gather here this afternoon, ironically, at Freedom Plaza. I say ironically because today, D.C. is anything but free. And yet, in the face of this immoral occupation, we gather as one people, one community, and one D.C. So here we are all together, the faith community, joining with our labor brothers and sisters of the AFL-CIO, elected officials, community leaders, and you, the residents of the District of Columbia. And we've come today standing to say with one voice, free D.C. As faith leaders, representing the various faith traditions across our city, we stand united to say that this immoral occupation is a violation of the fundamental principles of justice and compassion. It is a violation of justice because it represents an abuse of power from the executive branch. It is a violation of justice because it disenfranchises the votes and the voices of more than 700,000 residents of the District of Columbia. It is a violation of justice because it employs racial profiling and intimidation tactics against our Latino and Hispanic neighbors. It is a violation of justice because the convicted felon in the White House does not have the moral authority nor the legal standing to declare an emergency against crime. But not only is this immoral occupation a violation of justice, but it is also a violation of compassion. It's a violation of compassion because it has criminalized the unhoused people in our city and displaced them instead of providing for their needs. It is a violation of compassion because $1 billion of D.C. funding is being held that could be used to address the root causes of crime, like poverty, lack of affordable housing and health care, a living wage, after-school programs, and other vital community services. It is a violation of compassion because the funding being used to pay for the National Guard troops on our streets could be invested in grassroots organizations working in our neighborhoods, like Peace Walks DC with my brother, Reverend Delonte Golston, like the Violence Interrupters, and the many other programs operating out of our local houses of worship across the city. It is a violation of compassion, I say, because it seeks to further divide our communities between the haves and the have-nots. But today, we in the faith community join with you and come against this evil and divisive spirit in the name that is above every name. What the enemy meant for evil, God has turned around for our good. Today, because of this immoral occupation, we are more united, more together, and more of a community than we've ever been before. And so we in the faith community have come to declare that God is not pleased with this violation of justice and compassion. We've come as the faith community to stand with you against this immoral occupation. Not only did we come to stand with you, but we came to fight with you against this immoral occupation. How long are we going to fight? I'm glad you asked. We're going to fight until justice rolls down like rivers and righteousness like a mighty stream. And so together we shall overcome. close with these words from the hymnal in the Baptist tradition, and they simply say this: harder yet may be the fight, right may often yield to might, wickedness a while may reign, and Satan's cause may seem to gain. But there is a God, I said there is a God, who rules above with hand of power and heart of love. And if we're right, he will fight our battle. Fight on, DC. Fight on, DC. We shall overcome.
And we're going to get through this program. Bringing next up is Kaya Chatterjee of Free DC.
All right. Is anyone here ready for Free DC? All right. We have heard today about the fight that got us as far as we got, right? That got us home rule. And we are going to have to fight in this moment. But what I want to tell you all today is that we are going to win. My name is Kaya Chatterjee. I'm the Executive Director of Free DC. Can I hear some noise from our Free DC people? So, fascists like this president lose their power when people like us start using our power. And I'm going to tell you the plan right now. This is not just about the next election. There might not be a transfer of power allowed after the next election at the rate this administration is going, right? That's why they're doing the occupation. But when I say we're going to get back power, what I mean is that we're going to use our power as jurors, right? We've already seen our grand juries doing what they need to do. We're going to use our power as consumers, right? We're going to enact economic sanctions on anyone that enables this occupation. We're going to use our power as workers, right? They don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to teach children. They don't know how to pick up trash. They don't know how to do anything. We're going to use our power. And we're going to use our power as community members. And we as community members can either tolerate behavior that we see that is illegal and unjust in our neighborhoods, or we can vocally and visibly reject it. Is that what we're going to do? So we need to use every single tool we have to make this administration's attacks on us difficult and costly. Every day, everywhere. And that is how we will win. So some of the people who have the most tools right now are members of Congress. And we need Congress to do their part. So we need Congress to end this president's racist and white nationalist occupation of D.C., right? They have the power to do that. We need this Congress to get ICE out of D.C. and get the entire federal Gestapo outside of D.C. We heard from our black youth today what that is doing. Do we want them out? We need Congress to get the National Guard soldiers that are scaring our children with assault rifles out of our community. We need Congress to stop all the attacks on D.C.'s governing power. That means killing the 14 bills that were introduced this week alone to try to take away D.C.'s rights and powers. There are nearly 24 budget riders that would restrict D.C.'s spending on health care, on violence interruption, on schools, on the things that keep us safe. So I want to say specifically to the members of Congress, including many Democrats, who voted just this year to repeal D.C.'s locally passed laws, I need you to open your eyes to what is happening with this regime. They are bullying you, and you are being bullied into attacking D.C., and their endgame is to silence dissent and prevent a transfer of power. Why do we have Democrats voting for that? So we call on every member of Congress and every senator to protect the capital of our nation, to put a permanent end to these attacks by passing H.R. 51, the Washington, D.C. Admission Act, into law and making D.C. the 51st state of this country. We're out here also in front of the Wilson Building, so I want to say something also to Mayor Bowser. Mayor Bowser, your constituents call on you to stop cooperating with this administration. Do not make their work easier or convenient. We do not welcome indefinite coordination. Do we welcome that? We recognize that Delegate Norton, Attorney General Schwab, members of DC Council, and the vast majority of our constituents do not want this. Local leaders oppose what is happening right now, and we need you not to enable it. So I want all of you to actually turn around and look around for a moment. I know you all were doing it as we were marching. And I want you to just look at each other in the eye and realize that they went too far, right? And that today is the beginning of the end of the Trump regime. We have the tools we need to stop what's happening. We just need to organize and start using them. Free DC! Free DC! Thank you.
Audre Lorde once said, "We do not live single-issue struggles because we don't have single-issue lives." To my DC black and queer beloveds, this fight is indeed our fight too. And it is connected to the larger fight for liberation and autonomy. Because our queer joy cannot be complete while our neighbors are being kidnapped. Our queer joy cannot be complete with black youth being profiled and arrested. Our queer joy cannot be complete while the people of DC are having basic human rights taken away. My queer family, my DC family, and everyone being targeted by this administration, our struggles are indeed inseparable. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Andrea, who's a council member and a DC resident. Please make some noise.
¡Liberen DC! ¡No se escucha! ¡Liberen DC! ¡Liberen DC! ¡Liberen DC!
Buenos días.
Good afternoon.
My name is Andrea, and I am a community organizer with CASA.
Mi nombre es Andrea y soy una organizadora comunitaria con CASA.
I immigrated from El Salvador, and I have proudly called Washington, D.C. my home for 20 years.
Inmigré desde El Salvador y he llamado Washington, D.C. mi hogar estos últimos 20 años.
The city has given me so much hope, opportunity, a sense of belonging. But today, I stand before you, weighed down by terror.
Esta ciudad me ha dado tanto, oportunidad, felicidad, un hogar. Pero estoy aquí enfrente de ustedes hoy porque esta administración está alzando el terror.
This militarized occupation has brought on our DC families.
Esta ocupación ha llegado a nuestras familias aquí en DC.
I've seen neighbors being kidnapped daily.
Ve a mis vecinos que están siendo raptados día a día.
Working with families who have been torn apart.
Estoy trabajando con familias que han sido separadas.
Weeks back, I supported a church member who had open heart surgery and survived coma.
Hace un par de semanas estaba trabajando con un miembro de la iglesia que tuvo cirugía del corazón y sobrevivió coma.
He was on his way to life-saving dialysis.
Él estaba en camino para hacer su cita de diálisis.
When police stopped him,
Cuando la policía lo paró,
transferred him to ICE,
lo colaboraron con ICE
just 1 mile from his dialysis appointment.
y ICE lo detuvo 1 milla antes de su cita de doctor.
That case still haunts me. Can you believe a man fighting for his life?
Ese caso todavía me duele. ¿Te imaginas una persona luchando por su vida? Shame.
Kidnapped by ICE just 1 mile from the hospital.
Fue secuestrado por ICE 1 milla del hospital.
This is reality for so many families right now in D.C.
Esa es la realidad para muchas familias aquí en D.C.
and throughout this country.
y a través de todo este país.
Daughters asking, when would I see my dad again?
Hijas preguntando cuándo van a ver a su padre de nuevo.
Survivors who bear the physical and emotional scars from enforcement brutality.
Los sobrevivientes que todavía tienen las cicatrices mentalmente y físicamente de la brutalización policíaca.
Living in constant fear of being kidnapped again.
Que están viviendo constantemente con ese temor de ser raptados de nuevo.
And I stand here today.
Y me paro aquí enfrente de ustedes hoy.
And I carry the pain in my own heart.
Y cargo un dolor en mi propio corazón.
Last week, my nephew was detained and still in ICE custody.
La semana pasada, mi mismo sobrino fue detenido y todavía está en custodia de migración.
Leaving behind a 3-year-old.
Deja atrás su hija de 3 años.
I am fighting for my own family's freedom.
Estoy ahora luchando por la liberación de mi propia familia.
Just as I fight for my community.
Como todavía estoy luchando por mi comunidad.
In this darkness of the movement.
En ese tiempo tan oscuro en el movimiento.
But I refuse to give up.
Pero nunca me voy a rendir.
I fight because it's our only hope.
Lucho porque es nuestra única esperanza.
Our fight is our voice.
Nuestra lucha es nuestra voz.
And we will not be silenced.
Y nunca vamos a ser silenciados.
The stories of our pain, our dignity, and our fight will be heard.
Las historias de nuestros sufrimientos van a ser escuchadas.
We will not let this administration silence over our voices or hide our struggles.
Esta administración no vamos a dejar que nos silencien nuestra lucha ni nuestras palabras.
We will stand together.
Vamos a pararnos juntos, pies a pie.
Because we are strong, united.
Porque somos más fuertes cuando estamos unidos.
For our families.
Para nuestras familias.
For our community.
Para nuestra comunidad.
And for our future.
Y por nuestra futuro.
This occupation.
Esta ocupación.
Must end now.
Debe parar ahora mismo.
Thank you.
Liberen DC. Liberen DC.
Liberen DC.
Free DC.
Free DC.
Free DC.
Free DC.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, y'all, from D.C. to Palestine, Congo, and the Sudan, we must end occupation and state violence. All right? Why? Because who keeps us safe? Who keeps us safe? Who keeps us safe? Who keeps us safe? Our next speaker did not just arrive in this fight a month ago. She's been in the trenches to fight for a free D.C. Next up, my friend and comrade, Afeni Evans.
When I say hands up, you say fight back. Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Peace, y'all. My name is Afeni, and I'm a community organizer out here in D.C. And I'm here to tell you that we deserve better. D.C. deserves better than a flurry of illegal stops and searches. DC deserves better than helicopters flying low overhead for hours and frivolous checkpoints. The children of DC deserve better than mass vigilantes roaming their streets with assault rifles. DC's migrant population deserves better than coming home to find that their family has been kidnapped by the same country that has sanctioned and destroyed their homeland. DC deserves better than a mayor who will throw the city under the wheels of her plane to Martha's Vineyard in order to anticipatorily comply with a fascist regime and preserve her own power. We deserve better than a mayor who would shake hands with a dictator who seeks to subjugate and dehumanize her residents. Because from DC to Palestine to Haiti, occupation is a crime, and all politicians that are complicit are criminals. I'm here to tell you that unfortunately, police violence is not new to Chocolate City. That before this latest escalation, police in D.C. were responsible for the murders of Antoine Gilmore, Delano Martin, Caron Hilton, Kevin Hargrave Shern, Justin Robinson, and countless more. I'm here to tell you that the police have never kept people safe in D.C. We know that the safest communities have more resources. We know that the safest communities invest in youth recreation and employment. We know that the safest communities have compassion, love, and humanity at the center. So I am here to spread the good news that we must find joy in dismantling a racial caste system that has been forced upon us by the white imagination. Because we will find liberation in our new society that is made in the image of the marginalized, in the image of the working class, and in the image of all indigenous peoples all over the globe. Because here in D.C., we deserve leadership that is better. We deserve better than leadership that is asleep at the wheel. And as a DMV icon, Rolling Ray, would say, it is time to wake them up. It is time to put them all on notice that if D.C. has any leaders that does not have statehood at the top of their lips at all times, that they're about to lose their goddamn job. Because we cannot afford to shrink in the face of authoritarianism. We should not water our ass down to fit within the pragmatism of reform. We must be audacious in our pursuit for a better society. We must have the collective courage to fulfill a generational mandate that has been bestowed upon us to avenge the suffering of the 7 generations before us and to liberate the 7 generations after us. Because at this time, we must put our resources, our voices, and our bodies on the line to protect our communities. Because we are the revolution that we've been waiting for. Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Thank you.
Please, another round of applause. Oh my gosh. That's the energy our good sis comes with all the time. To keep this energy going, next up, welcome to the stage, Jesse Rabinowitz, Campaign and Communications Director for the National Homelessness Law Center, and Wesley Thomas, Guest Advisory Board Member and Speakers Bureau Member, Miriam's Kitchen.
Shabbat Shalom. My name is Jesse, and I direct the Housing Not Handcuffs campaign, but more importantly, I live here in D.C. with my family. I'm here today because I want my kid to grow up in a D.C. where nobody lives outside because everyone has their needs met, not in a city where the Army patrols the streets and police harass homeless people. I'm going to talk about the devastating impact of Trump's takeover of D.C. on our homeless neighbors, but first I want to talk about how we got here. More people are sleeping outside than ever before because the rent is too damn high and the wages are too damn low. The average cost of a one-bedroom in D.C. is $2,300. Now, for Donald Trump and his billionaire cronies, that might be pocket change, but we know it's just too much for most people to afford. Our housing system is broken, but instead of fixing it and lowering the rent, Donald Trump wants to cut housing support and make it a crime to sleep outside. That's shameful. Laws that make it a crime to be poor or black are as old as America, but they are in the middle of a rebirth. The takeover of D.C. is part of an attack led by right-wing billionaires on people who are poor, sick, and disabled. Trump has abandoned real solutions to homelessness, like housing and support, and has said for years that he wants to round up homeless people and force them into government-run detention camps. When a fascist tells you what they want to do, believe them. So what does Trump's attack on homeless Washingtonians look like? To me, it looked like state violence and state-sponsored chaos. I saw dozens of federal police officers from the FBI, Secret Service to Homeland Security gather near a few tents in Foggy Bottom. They didn't come with housing or support. They came with guns and flashing lights. The following morning, a caravan of over 20 police cars and trash trucks sped from site to site, throwing away people's belongings. In my decade of witnessing encampment evictions in D.C., I've never seen anything like this. And it's not a coincidence that Trump is targeting homeless people who in D.C. are nearly 90% black. It's not a coincidence. It is white supremacy in action. Throwing away somebody's belongings does not help them pay rent. And putting someone in jail doesn't make housing cheaper. The money spent on the National Guard deployment since Trump's takeover could have solved homelessness for 500 people for a year. Why can we find millions of dollars for the National Guard to pick up trash, but not for the government to help people? For me, this is personal, not just because I love D.C., but because Trump is locking up and targeting my neighbors. Look, I may be biased. I think you should care about people living outside because they are people. And my faith says love thy neighbors, regardless of where they live, what they look like, or where they come from. But if that isn't enough, I need you to care, because what starts with homeless folks in D.C. will spread to everybody across the country. Locking up people or removing people you don't want to see is textbook authoritarianism. Trump is testing public opinion on groups that he believes has little public sympathy, like homeless folks, migrants, and trans folks. We must include the attacks on homeless people and our collective understanding of Trump's power grab. I used to do homeless street outreach in the very parks Trump is targeting. People lived in these parks not because they wanted to be there, but because housing was too expensive and shelters were full. These folks, like most homeless people in D.C., are from D.C. They do their best they can to survive in a city and in a country where politicians would rather remove them than help them. In these parks, I saw the best in people. Folks struggling to get by built community and supported each other. And I even saw a few clients move into housing with the supports they needed and wanted. These folks thrived. They got their lives back on track. They got healthy, and they didn't live outside anymore. We need housing and support, not handcuffs and a military takeover. The solution to homelessness is housing. The solution to authoritarianism is solidarity. We need both. Free D.C.
Good afternoon, fellow advocates, colleagues, and friends. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you today. It is only befitting that the March for Free D.C. began at Malcolm X Park, Meridian Hill. It has been the site for civil rights and political rallies and speeches since the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., including a protest of Donald Trump's inauguration in 2017 for police brutality here in Washington, D.C. I am Wesley Thomas, a member of Murray's Kitchen Guest Advisory Board and ardent homeless advocate. From 1988 to 2017, I was homeless, living and sleeping on the streets of Washington, D.C. Now I dedicate significant time, effort, and energy to seeing that others do not fall into being chronically homeless. Since housed, I've been able to help 48 people put keys in their own apartments. I know what it's like to be victimized firsthand. I have 29 years of lived experience. You cannot solve homelessness by arresting someone. When you disperse a homeless encampment, you make things more dangerous for people. People who sleep in encampments do so for safety. Now, Donald Trump is exercising his authoritarian rule. We have 2,000 plus federal officers on the street and 3 more on the way. ICE, DEA, FBI, ATF, and some we probably never even heard of. Toting guns. Are we at war? No. The objective of being here is to fight violent crimes in Washington, D.C. The unhoused are not enemy combatants. I have witnessed them being harassed, bullied, maced, and further traumatized and frightened by their own government. Why? I'm here to advocate to be that voice for someone's mother, father, sister, or brother. This needs to cease and desist. Would you not agree? The federal government, listen to this, pays for hotels and food for the National Guard being deployed here, which is estimated to cost $1 million a day. I want to repeat that, $1 million a day times 30. Yet, in the D.C. fiscal 26 budget, there is no money for permanent supportive housing for homeless people. None. Zero. Leaving on the streets here. So I ask my colleagues and friends present here today, how many permanent supportive housing vouchers can be acquired from funding issued for these federal officers here? It could house everyone, couldn't it? So I join you in solidarity today. The unhoused here in the nation's capital deserve better. We can do better. Housing, not handcuffs. Thank you.
El pueblo unido
jamás será vencido.
El pueblo unido
Jamás será vencido.
El pueblo unido
Jamás será vencido. El pueblo unidos.
jamás será vencido. Woo! Help me in welcoming Kare with United We Dream.
Hi everyone, my name is Kari or Gadi. Hola a todos. I'm here with United We Dream Action, and these are my people, my crew, my group. I couldn't do that without them, so shout out to them. I am the daughter of Black and Latinx immigrants, a college student, an advocate, and as John Lewis once said, I am not afraid to make good trouble. I am not afraid of making white supremacy shake. I'm not afraid of challenging the white fragility of this country. I am not afraid of tearing down fascist regimes and agendas that choose to seek and colonize my people. I am from Baltimore, so DC has always been in my backyard, and like so many of you, I now have the privilege of calling this place my home. And let it be known to the administration and to the rest of the world that hatred will not exist in our home. Your anti-constitutional antics will not exist in our home. The sanctioned kidnapping and abduction of my people will not exist in our home. The occupation and militarization will not exist in our home. From D.C. to Chicago to my city in Baltimore and to our brother and sisters abroad in Gaza, we stand with you. We resist occupation and militarization of our homes. Being a student in D.C., studying international relations and political science, I spend my days reading about authoritarianism, about fascism, about militarism. But I didn't realize that I would be witnessing it unfold in front of my eyes. It's one thing to study it. It's another thing to watch it happen to the people and the communities you love. Done by a nation that so gallantly proclaims freedom and a nation that prides itself for justice and liberty. But for who? For who? Because freedom doesn't look like ICE strategically raiding our schools and our neighborhoods. Freedom doesn't look like targeting and criminalizing innocent black youth. Freedom doesn't look like wasting our tax dollars to fund your theoretical terror on cities. I refuse to be a bystander. I refuse to be compliant or complicit to the dehumanization of my people. And while I grieve the way this administration treats my communities and the way they have harmed my cities, I stand confidently in the power and the presence of the people. Because the people, el pueblo, throughout history and across all movements, across all borders and countries, we have been the ones to curate radical change and revolution. And so together we will do it for every city, for every corner of the country, and also for the world, because our struggles and oppression are shared, and our liberation shall be a victory for all of humanity. I want to take a moment to share a quick story with you all. Just last Sunday, I went to Columbia Heights with my mom, and that neighborhood holds a special place in my heart. It's a community empowered by immigrants, homes filled with beautiful black and brown families and bodies. It's a place of life, of different languages, of prosperity and vibrancy. It's where I go to volunteer with my roommates. It's where some of the best hole-in-the-wall food spots are. And right off the metro, it's where street vendors sell chamoy, fruta, taquitos, papas con salsa, and other goods. On a regular day, you will see dozens of vendors lined up on the sidewalks close to that metro. Last weekend, there was only about two. I asked qué pasó, and a vendor responded saying that they were either taken by ICE or too afraid to show up. Terrified to do their life's work that paid their rent, work that put food on their table, work that supported their families. So when ICE descended into our city, it didn't scatter the criminals. They scattered innocent, hard-working people. This military occupation was never about safety. It was never about reducing crime. They don't give a damn about black and brown bodies. It was never about making the city safe for us. Safe cities don't have tanks. Safe cities don't have armed military vigilance. Safe cities don't have convicted felons as leaders. True safety and protection of our cities is brought through the love, empathy, and the collective liberation of our people. So I'm here to tell the administration that we are DC. Say that with me. We are DC. We are not just a situation of complete lawlessness. We are not a capital of just crime and bloodshed. We are immigrants, the children of immigrants, street vendors, restaurant owners, small business owners, Uber drivers, teachers, caretakers, workers, the youth. We are DC. Nosotros somos DC. Not your troops, not your tanks, not your federal agents, not your military parades, not any of your damn presents. And so today we stand, DC, stand united with Baltimore, with Chicago, with Seattle, with Palestine, because we and our people are worth fighting for. Our cities are worth fighting for. Our communities are worth fighting for. Our collective liberation across all people and countries is borders is worth fighting for. So I leave you with one final message. Look around. Take a look to your left. Take a look to your right. This is your community. This people, this collective, this city, this beautiful, beautiful city is what we're fighting for. Hold on to that and never let go. Thank you, Free DC. Thank you.
All right, Karen, United We Dream Action. Thank y'all so much. Next up, we have Jaime Contreras, Executive Vice President of 32BJ SEIU.
When I say, what do we want? You say, DC statehood. What do we want? DC statehood. What do we want? DC statehood. What do we want? DC statehood. And if we don't get it, and if we don't get it, and if we don't get it, all right, you guys still got it after a long, long march. All of our members across all of our unions on the stage, right here, from those who clean all these buildings around you and protect them, federal buildings, commercial office buildings, they work at airports, construction workers who build our cities. I know the trades are here, the painters, those who host residents and tourists at restaurants and hotels. I know you're not here, it's in the house. Those who teach our children, NEA, Washington Teachers Union, I know they're here as well. And those who you usually don't see unless you go to a government building, those who are always committed to serving the public, behind the scenes, federal workers. I know I saw ASBE out here. I know I saw other public sector workers like NTEU in the house. There's all these unions out here today. All of our union members are united with one demand. We want this federal occupation to end, and we want it to end now. Todos los miembros de todos los sindicatos que estamos acá, estamos para demandar que se termine la ocupación de Washington y que dejen nuestra gente inmigrante vivir y trabajar en paz. I'll leave it with this. DC workers deserve better, so we demand better. As a country, we are better than this. To my fellow military men and women in uniform who are walking our streets, I'm going to say, I'm sorry that you're being put in this position. I know many of you are asking, what the hell am I doing on the streets of Washington, D.C.? We will not be silenced. We will not stop raising our voices until the District of Columbia residents reclaim their rightful autonomy. We know by experience in the labor movement that when we fight together, we win together. When we fight, when we fight, when we fight. Lastly, I'm going to introduce a worker who's one of those impacted workers, many impacted workers, a member of Unite Here, a hotel and restaurant worker. Please welcome Leslie Ventura, who's going to say a few words. Leslie.
Hola a todos, mi nombre es Leslie Ventura. He trabajado en esta ciudad por más de 7 años. Nunca me había sentido tan insegura como ahora.
I'm Leslie Ventura. I've never felt so insecure as I do today after working in the cities for how many years? 7 years.
Muchos de los trabajadores de la industria restaurantera y hotelera y todos los demás están siendo afectados. Y los más afectados somos nosotros los trabajadores.
Our members, my co-workers in the industry are being affected, and those are always affected the most are the workers.
Las personas no quieren visitar la ciudad de DC porque ellos tienen miedo al ver la ciudad llena de militares y policías.
People are afraid to come to our city because they see the city occupied by the military and police and federal agents.
El restaurante donde yo he
organicé, muchos de mis compañeros se quedaron sin trabajo porque no hay negocio y esto no es justo, esto no puede seguir pasando. Y uno de ellos la última semana lo detenieron cuando él iba a su trabajo a las 7 de la mañana y ahora está esperando su deportación y esto no puede continuar.
Shame! That's right, shame. She says workers are afraid to come to work. People are afraid to come to work. People are losing their jobs because the industry has no people eating at these restaurants. And just last week, one of her co-workers got detained by ICE, and now it's waiting deportation. Boo and shame on you, Donald Trump.
Necesitamos llevar una vida tranquila y en paz y en libertad. Y unidos es como venceremos. ¡Sí se puede!
¡Sí se puede!
¡Sí se puede!
¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí! ¡Sí! So now, it is my honor, gracias, Leslie, and yes, we have had members in 32BJ as well who have been stopped by federal agents. So I'm going to say one more chant, and that goes like this. Donald Trump, shame on you. Donald Trump! Donald Trump! Donald Trump! Shame on you! Shame on you! So we demand that Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, grow some spine and reject any further erosion of democracy in D.C., just as they would do in their own districts. We demand Donald and the Trump administration removes the National Guard from our streets, not tomorrow, now. We are lucky in Washington to have some local elected leaders who get it, who support us, who are behind us, who defend us. So it is my honor to introduce to you Ward 4 Councilwoman Janice Lewis George to the stage. Let's give her a warm welcome.
When I say free, you say DC free! 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 Yes, thank you all so much. I am a third-generation Washingtonian, a proud daughter of the district, and a council member representing Ward 4. I want to speak today because I think there's some confusion in the country where we stand as a district and as district leaders. And so there's some things I want to make sure is clear to our elected leaders across this country. This city, our city, is beautiful. D.C. is a sanctuary city. It is a city that embraces, not excludes. It is a home to black families who have been here for generations, to immigrant families who came here seeking safety and opportunity, to federal workers, to service workers, to transit workers, to artists, to educators, people who have built their lives and their communities here. That's who we are. We are a city that believes deeply and unapologetically in a world where every person's needs are met and every person can thrive. We are a city that believes in fundamental rights enshrined in the Constitution, rights that are not conditional, not negotiable, and not reserved only for a few. That is the D.C. I come from. That is the D.C. I represent. But what we have seen in these last 3 weeks have been more devastating. It has been chilling to the bone. We have watched this fascist regime
Make no mistake about it. We have watched this fascist regime trample the constitutional rights that every person in this country should be able to count on. We have listened as they have tried to rewrite the story of our city and this country and Black history, but we will not let them erase the truth. And we need the rest of the country to understand, truly understand what is happening on our streets, what we are witnessing, the breakdown of the very legal and constitutional protections that are supposed to define this nation. This regime has tried to intimidate and terrorize us, to break our spirit. They want us to believe we are powerless, that our rights be suspended at will, that due process, the First and Fourth Amendments, equal protection under the law can be ignored. And let's be clear, they chose D.C. for a reason. This city is home to more than 700,000 residents, Americans who live without full constitutional representation. And without statehood, we are vulnerable to federal overreach. We've been sounding the alarms. My ancestors have been sounding the alarms. People who are sitting right here have been sounding the alarms for decades. We need statehood to protect our rights and our people. And that call has been ignored by both parties. And now, it's not just D.C. residents who will pay the price. It's the country and the Constitution itself. And the price is steep. I've seen it with my own eyes. Tanks in front of Union Station, masked armed agents, unidentifiable, roaming our neighborhoods. No badges, no names, no constitutionality, no accountability. Every single day, our communities are being terrorized by federal forces on our streets in direct violation of the Constitution. And every day, my neighbors in Ward 4 are watching their rights shredded before their eyes. We've seen parents ripped from their child's arms on their ways to school without a warrant, without probable cause. Which party is the party of families? Because I don't see anybody sticking up and standing for our families who are being destroyed. Food delivery workers pulled from his car by masked men. No explanation, no legal authority. Working. What's this American dream you keep talking about, but not allowing people to have as they work to provide for their families? Child care providers, our most vulnerable, taking care of our children. Every single one of our children in this country who need our child care workers to survive and thrive. Being snatched, being taken, being approached while caring for our babies. That is what is happening on our streets in this country. Landscapers working, taken from jobs, no charges, no access to counsel. Federal officers targeting our beautiful Black youth here in the District of Columbia. Violating their rights to safety, to movement, to simply exist in public space. That's what's happening to our Black youth here in the District of Columbia. People, our people, being taken without cause, without legal justification, without explanation, snatched off the streets and disappeared. These are not isolated incidents. I want to be clear. They are systemic, intentional, unconstitutional, and cruelty is the point. American citizens being detained without cause. Permanent residents showing their valid documents and still being taken. Peaceful workers and parents and young people, people simply trying to live their lives, are being stripped of their constitutional rights. That is not what D.C. stands for. This is not what D.C. wants. This is not what D.C. welcomes. This is not what D.C. appreciates. This is not who D.C. is as a city what DC is made of. We don't cower. We organize. We resist. We know the value of our rights, and we will make that value known. And that is what we are going to continue to do. So as I said before, this is the capital city. If we fall, this country falls. This is not just DC's fight. This is America's fight. So get in this fight with us and free DC. When I say hands off, you say DC. Hands off. Hands off. Hands off. Hands off. Thank you.
Let's get that going. Janice for mayor. Janice for mayor. Janice for mayor. Janice for mayor. All right, Council Member Janice Lewis George. Thank you. Next up, I am proud to introduce Amy Fisher and Cookie with DC Migrant Solidarity Mutual Aid.
Buenas tardes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cookie, and I am proud to be a core organizer with Colectivo de Familias Migrantes. Buenas tardes a todos. Es mi orgullo estar aquí y representar el Colectivo de Familias Migrantes. Colectivo is a multilingual and multicultural political home for migrant families across the district. For generations, immigrant communities have enriched the culture of Washington, D.C., from uptown to east of the river. Today, Muriel Bowser and the military occupation has tried erasing us from our home. Our vibrant culture is now of muffled worries, of silent prayers, and hopeful desires of reunification. The silence of our absence echoes through the corridors of our district. We see them creeping into our neighborhoods, silently tearing our families apart, instilling fear and muffling our voices. Yet here we are, resilient and brave, our heads held high against the deportation monster created to disappear us. One thing is certain, Washington, D.C. continues to be a sanctuary and home to millions of immigrants. Washington, D.C. is our home. El Colectivo de Familias Migrantes es un hogar político, multilingüe y multicultural para familias migrantes en todo el distrito. Durante generaciones, las comunidades inmigrantes han enriquecido la cultura de Washington, D.C. Desde el norte de la ciudad hasta el este del río, hoy Muriel Bowser y la ocupación militar han tratado de borrarnos de nuestro hogar. Nuestra vibrante cultura ahora está llena de preocupaciones silenciosas, oraciones calladas y deseos esperanzados de reunificación. El silencio de nuestra ausencia resuena a través de los pasillos de nuestro distrito. Los vemos asomándose en nuestros vecindarios, desgarrando silenciosamente a nuestras familias, infundiendo miedo y apagando nuestras voces. Sin embargo, aquí estamos, resilientes y valientes, con la cabeza en alto, contra el monstruo de la deportación que quieren usar para hacernos desaparecer. Una cosa es segura, Washington, D.C. sigue siendo un santuario. Washington, D.C. es nuestro hogar.
I'm Amy, and I'm a core organizer with Migrant Solidarity Mutual Aid. Migrant Solidarity Mutual Aid was founded about 3.5 years ago to respond to yet another racist politician trying to use D.C. to play political when Texas Governor Abbott began busing people seeking safety from the border to D.C., hundreds of D.C. residents came out to ensure that every person was welcomed with dignity, while Mayor Bowser was nowhere to be seen. And now that our immigrant friends and neighbors are under attack, the D.C. community has taken action yet again to protect our neighbors. The MISMA Emergency Response Hotline has received upwards of 2,500 calls from community members calling to report enforcement activity to protect our friends and neighbors since the occupation began. And guess who's not here to help again? El Grupo de Ayuda Mutua en Solidaridad con Migrantes se fundó hace aproximadamente 3 años y medio para responder a otro político racista que intentó utilizar D.C. para jugar juegos políticos con las vidas de los migrantes. En 2022, cuando el gobernador de Texas, Greg Abbott, comenzó a enviar los autobuses con personas que buscaban seguridad desde la frontera a D.C., cientos de residentes de D.C. salieron para asegurar que cada persona fuera bienvenida con dignidad, mientras que la alcaldesa Bowser no estaba en ningún lado. Y ahora que nuestros amigos y vecinos de inmigrantes están siendo atacadas, la comunidad de D.C. ha tomado medidas una vez más para proteger a nuestros vecinos. La línea de emergencia de respuesta de MISMA ha recibido más de 2,500 llamadas de miembros de la comunidad que llamen para informar sobre actividades de la policía y migra para proteger a nuestros amigos y vecinos. Y adivina quién no está para ayudar. It is clear that Mayor Bowser has never found a bus that she won't throw the immigrant community under. Whether it was denying shelter to immigrant families and forcing them to sleep on the streets during hypothermia season, to trying to reverse D.C. sanctuary laws, and now supporting the mass arrests and disappearances of immigrants from our communities. Está claro que la alcaldesa Bowser nunca ha encontrado un autobús bajo el que no arrojar la comunidad migrante, ya sea negando refugio a las familias migrantes y obligándolas a dormir en la calle durante la temporada de hipotermia, tratando de revertir las leyes de santuario de D.C. y ahora apoyando los arrestos masivos y desapariciones de inmigrantes de nuestras comunidades.
Too many of our family members have disappeared, morphed into a hopeful prayer for reunification. Too many of us are afraid to leave our homes, to go to work, to go to school, to seek help because we know when we leave home for the day, we may not come home. Even before the start of the occupation, we watched how Deporter-in-Chief Muriel Bowser conspires with racists like Stephen Miller in the White House to terrorize our Black, brown, and indigenous communities across D.C. We have seen how MPD and ICE are working hand in hand to set up checkpoints, racially profile us and our fathers, stopping and searching us with their dirty and sweaty hands, touching our bodies without consent. We see them march through our neighborhoods to round up our community in cages. Demasiados de nuestros miembros de la familia han desaparecido, convirtiéndose en una oración esperanzada por un milagro de reunificación. Incluso antes del inicio de la ocupación, hemos visto como la deportadora Muriel Bowser conspira con racistas como Stephen Miller. Son organizaciones como Colectivo de Familias Migrantes y MESMA que están todos los días en las calles.